Welcome to another episode of Low Five Gaming. This is Alex, and I'm joined by my brother and co-host Luke.
Hello, hello.
What up, dude?
Welcome to the avant-garde of gaming podcasts. Alex out here picking games, being like, in case you didn't know, I had an art minor in college. So here we're playing Gris. It is
This
the
is
Spanish
true.
word for gray, and it's a game about emotions and all of these things. Would you like to know about all these things? We don't shoot things and play sports football. We play artsy games. My name is Alex.
That was good, man. We can send it.
I've been loading that up all week. Just want you to know that. It's like I'm gonna roast them for picking an artsy games and being a little fucking tootsy fruitsy. What's the word I'm looking for? Just like an artsy fartsy guy. Yeah.
Dope as fuck, man. Come on.
Sure.
This game is sick. It is artsy though. It is.
Yeah, super artsy. I was like, who's this guy think he is?
You hit a lot of the beats, man. It's also a Spanish game. The developers are out of Barcelona, and it's dope, man. It's a full vibe
I'm an
game.
art minor that ran away to live in Spain for a while. Here's the game that capitalizes on my journey across the world. Follow me, guys, for my journey. What's up?
You get a lot of deep cuts about Alex's life in this episode.
I don't know. It could all be made up. Maybe I'm just being a dick.
Yeah, but Gris, man, I've been calling this game Gris or Gris for like probably a couple of years, and then I realized that it's Gris, the Spanish word for gray, and I felt kind of silly.
The first time I heard it called Gris, I was like, that feels gross. I don't like it. Like
it is kind of weird.
Calling her Gris, I was like, man, if you mix the English and the Spanish, I guess in this instance, it doesn't feel good.
Yeah, not great. But I do think it's a great game, man. I think it's a really great game. But you're right, there is no combat. I guess you'd call it a platformer, not really a walking sim. Kind of. Is it an action platformer though? A little bit.
Yeah, I'd call it like an environmental puzzle walking sim platformer, I guess. Yeah. I thought it was brand new, dude. When you picked it, it was on Game Pass, so I just assumed it was like a new release. And then I saw it was on sale somewhere, and I was like, a new game, and now you've known about it for years. So I mean, I guess it's been floating around in the indie art scene for a while, and I just laymen like me, capital G gamers, we don't know about this cool fancy stuff. So you've just been playing this game at coffee shops and stuff for the last few years, or what? How'd you even know about it?
Man, for the avid listener of Low Five Gaming, I had got a big old boner for Devolver Digital. So
sure.
When I started going down the Devolver rabbit hole, I discovered Gris because it is published by Devolver. The development studios, Nomada Studios, Barcelona. Yeah, man, it's another Devolver joint. So we got to get a hold of Devolver. Give us some of that Devolver money because we just keep hawking these Devolver games. But I tell you what, man.
Thank you for reaching out, dudes.
Right.
Glad to know you're a fan.
Want about some new games you can buy from us?
Right.
How about Angerfoot?
Yeah, we will continue to release good games you will buy and talk about, bud.
Man, they do have a couple ones, but I digress, dude. This is about Gris. And so I have started this game maybe 3 times, and I wouldn't say I bounced off of it because it wasn't like I wasn't enjoying it. It's just like the game's a vibe, right? And it doesn't take very long to beat. It takes roughly 5 hours to complete, I would say, if you're just going at it. But the thing is I would play about 2-3 hours and I would just start playing something else. There's something about having a podcast feels like homework sometimes. I didn't really feel like this was homework.
In a good way, it felt like homework.
Yeah. So this game, it was like good homework, when you're like enjoying the subject and you're feeling real good about whatever you're working on. That's how this one was for me, man. It gave me an excuse to like actually play through to the credits and see the whole thing. Because I probably, as you play through, you start to unlock all these colors. There's a lot of really cool things that the developers did in this game where they play around with the colors and music, and they tie in with this idea of the stages of grief, right? And we have a couple episodes on education that I encourage folks to go back in the backlog and check out. But in which episode? I can't remember which episode we mentioned, but I think I mentioned this game being a good one to use in the classroom. And I think that could still be true. If you're covering like the stages of grief or something like that. But I do think that you would need to bring a ton of context because even though
as a teacher, you'd have to bring a pretty heavy hand
yes,
along with each chapter, so to speak, or else I like the game a lot. It's beautiful right off the bat.
But I didn't get that, man. If I didn't know that
No,
this is
not at
what their
all.
plan
I
was,
knew
I
it was
don't
about
think
some deep shit. You could
right.
catch the vibe that it was about some deep shit or something, but I felt pretty dumb as I played it. I'm like, am I supposed to know about something, dude?
Because
Am I
they're not
supposed to
feeding it to
read?
you. They're really
No.
letting you, the player, kind of figure out your
You
journey,
you
right?
posted a nice little companion video that kind of explains the game in the greater detail, and then I laughed to myself as it's like 22 minutes long, and I laughed to
Mm-hmm.
myself as I was listening to it, and I was like, what if this dude's just wrong? And the developer's like, I don't know, dude. I was like, red.
Right.
I'm sure it's right. I'm sure it's been confirmed in other places. Aside from what the game actually means, playing it, I would describe it as meditative in a
Mm.
way. Like it's very beautiful. You kind of get swept away. It's very relaxing. There is not a lot of tension, and
No.
I mean that
Couple
in the
couple
sense,
points.
right? But like you don't die. You know what I mean?
Right.
You don't lose. You don't.
There's no life count or anything like
There's
that.
no life count. I don't
No
think any of the
weapons.
things that are like your antagonist, so to speak, your what is it? Is it the dread or is it the sorrow or whatever? The metaphorically speaking, like the bird or the giant eel thing. I'm not sure if they can actually ever catch you because I never actually did get caught by them. But the point I'm generally
So
making
you
is,
played this on Game Pass, right?
and
I
I can,
caught, I did too. I have it on the Switch. I bought it on the Switch, but I ended up playing on Game Pass for a
yeah,
couple different reasons. But I got a Chivo for not getting caught by the eel. So I'm
mm,
curious
maybe you can then.
if you can slip
I'm
up
just
there.
such a good fucking gamer, dude.
What can I
Just,
say?
just battle that grief so fucking hard. Yeah, no, so it's really cool. It's a nice change of pace in games, but I bring this all
Hmm.
up because I can understand how you could bounce off of it if you didn't have like an end goal in mind of like finishing the game to talk about it and like being able to say you beat it because like you just kind of vibe with it. So I can see like enjoying it and then just getting caught up in more addicting games
Yep.
or games with more clear outcomes and less interpretation because as I played it, man, I really like to mix it up with other games I was playing, and I'd just vibe out and I'd play it for like the last half hour before I went to bed, and that was a nice vibe.
Nice, man. We've mentioned a couple times now, like the vibe, the art style, the music. How would you describe this art style that got going on here?
Well, I'm gonna like kind of merge the art style with the gameplay because I'm not an art minor. I don't really know enough about art styles to really be vibing, but I've only played like a half an hour of Journey, but it reminds me a lot of the game Journey.
Oh, that's another
Um,
one that might have to hit the pod eventually because that's another one I've
yeah.
started and just haven't finished.
And it reminds me of a lot of the game Inside. Have you heard of
Mm.
Inside? And I think
Yeah,
Limbo is the other one.
yeah.
So there are these games where it's like side to side journey is not, but it's just like you're moving along with the music and then the art is so vibrant and I have no idea how to describe it. Did you have something in mind? Because I thought I would come to my brain as I talked and it did not. It did not load.
I'm testing you, bro.
It did not load.
Yeah. So it's definitely got a watercolor vibe to it. It almost feels like
Yeah.
a live action watercolor to me.
Sure.
It's got this hand drawn style, and I would say that the characters and some of the environmental stuff has a very like Studio Ghibli vibe to it, especially
Mm.
Grease herself. I would say,
I almost
and
found it more like Arabic to Middle Eastern,
sure. They also has a bit of a Dali vibe to it. I think in some interviews, the
like
developers have
Salvador Dali
correct. Yes.
for us simple folk. Although I still feel pretty bougie for being able to say that even. So
Yes,
whatever.
sir. I do believe that's been
I'm on a
said by
first name
the
slang basis, but I've heard of the Dali with the clocks and the melting
Mm,
things.
right. So a lot of that environmental stuff has a Dali vibe, and I think the developers have gone as far as much to say so that they were inspired by both of those things, the Studio Ghibli and the Dali. And
I can
my
kind of see that, yeah.
yeah. So I mean, you see that flavor. So like, and that's something that I definitely agree with, and I see that after I read that. But for me, it truly is this like live action watercolor. Like that's what I get out of it, because you have this movement of the colors, and it really does look like watercolor.
I feel like
And
there's
what
lots of splashes.
totally. And then as you're
That makes
playing,
sense.
as I was playing this game, dude, it's super heady. But I definitely had this vibe, like the way that the game plays. I felt like you're almost walking through like in a museum, like a digital museum exhibit. Like not in the sense that like here's a painting
Yeah.
here, here's a painting here, but like it felt to me like I don't know, like a encompassing live exhibit, dude. It was nuts. It was like an artistic video game. It's super
Yeah.
heady. I get it, but like, dude, it's a vibe. It was cool.
It does feel kind of silly to say like it's an interactive art exhibit, but that's kind of how it was because that leads into the whole thing that we talked about with like the low tension, some light puzzling where you were never like, oh my God, what do I do here? Like you could find it out pretty easily. And it was never about challenge. It was more about just kind of like experiencing it as you went, feeling the different emotions or feeling the different art just kind of take you where it was taking you, even if you didn't fully understand it, which if you're a simpleton like myself and you've been to an art museum, it's kind of how art goes, man. You just, I don't know what I'm feeling, but I'm feeling something in my bones.
Dog, I was in Amsterdam once. and dude, I was
Behaving, I'm
high
sure.
as
Okay,
balls.
never mind.
Nah, I smoked hella weed, dude. I smoked hella weed. None of my friends wanted to smoke weed. They just wanted to go to the pub. I was like, hey man, we're in Amsterdam. I'm gonna get fucking faded. And so I did, right? But
Such an
then
American.
dude, I don't know.
Gosh.
Just a young boy in Amsterdam. So, but we go to the Van Gogh Museum, dude, and I have a little bowl and like some nugs of weed in my pocket, and and I'm high, so I get all nervous that I'm gonna get caught with this weed, and then like when I got to security, I was like, oh yeah, it's legal here. And then it's just like, and then I was totally chill, right? And they're like, yeah, come on
Security's
in.
like, kind of, but whatever. Get the
Yeah,
fuck out of my face,
right, right, right.
American.
But dude, I bring up this story because I'm in there and I'm looking at all these paintings by Van Gogh, who's one of my favorite artists. I love Impressionism, which is probably like why I like this game so much. Uh, but I'm looking at this painting and I'm just
Art
vibing
minor.
with it.
Yeah.
I'm
Yeah.
vibing with this painting and I'm starting to think, I'm like thinking about what this painting means and like all this stuff. And then I look over at the little synopsis and I fucking nailed it, dude. It
Nice,
was, I
dude.
was
I was
so
really
happy.
hoping it was just like dog was tripping. He has no idea what this is about. And I was like, I know all the deep meanings.
Nah, I don't even know how deep I can. Like, this is years ago, dude. This is like probably 15 years ago or some shit. So like, I don't really know. But like, but dude, I don't remember what the thing was about. But I don't think it was that deep. I think it was pretty easy to figure out. But
It's like
but I
Van
was
Gogh is sad. I was like, he
right,
uses lots of blues. He's probably sad.
right.
Well, that's fun.
Yeah, totally. But like, so like the art in this game is really cool, and it integrates with the music really well too. And I also want to note about that whole watercolor, like live action museum esque art style, is that they use this cool art animation style similar to the original Disney animation, right? Like the drawings that they did for the character Gris herself and like the running animation, it's the very same style that they use in some of the early Disney stuff. So you get kind of that cool, like old cartoony vibe thing going on too with the running and everything, which is kind of a fun fact. And the other cool thing that couples with the art is the music, right?
Yeah,
So
music's
like
beautiful.
it is, dude, the music is again such a
Haunting.
vibe. It's
Yeah.
very haunting. Like it hits all these feelings, all these emotions, like 5 stages of grief really well. And it's also interactive with how you play. So like if you're running on I don't know, like I know when we first started playing this, I recommended to folks in the Discord to definitely play this game with the sound on. And I hope that you did.
Yeah, this was not a podcast game for me. Although as I got frustrated towards the end, I was like, wrap this shit up. I was like tempted to because it's one of those things where I
Yeah.
thought it was done and they're like, no, explore this area now. And I was like, but that looked like it was the ending.
I know you hit me up and you're like, you hit up the Discord and you're like, oh, I just met a friend because you meet this cool little like dude in the green area. And I was like, yeah, you got some time to go.
Yeah,
But
that's not what I was talking about, but that was a cute.
oh
When you
word.
said Studio Ghibli at first, I was like, not really, but then I kind of remembered that little creature thing. I was like,
Yeah.
yeah, I kind of get
The
it.
characters for sure, man. But the
Forests and
so
stuff, yeah.
so like there's cool things that happen and like there's different things. There's like Metrovania vibes to this game, right? So like
No,
there's
not at
Metrovania
all.
elements to the game. Get the fuck out of here, dude. There's you
No.
literally cannot go to certain areas until you do certain things like collect little star keys, that kind of deal. Like
Yeah,
you
but you don't
also
like
get
return to an area. You're like, it's linear.
there's not huge backtracking, but there are a couple spots. Like you can't like get past certain deals until you unlock the dresses. Dude, you're wrong. Dude, you like
wrong. You don't get games, you're stupid. Wrong.
Dude, you have to like so your dress end up unlocking different features. Like you get this big square, like you turn into a big rock and you can like break through. Like I do realize that yes, you don't have to do major backtracking. It doesn't like close things off as heavily as it would in something like Metroid, but there are slight Metroidvania elements to this game.
I just want to go wrong.
But yes,
typical progression, dog. Like you never go to a thing you can't get past, like until you get your ability. Like it's right there, and then you can get past the thing. Like it's not like, oh, I see, I'll come back to this later. It's like it's very super linear, straightforward. So wrong.
I disagree, dude.
I get the point you're trying to make, and it does lead into like each chapter you seem to eventually get like a new ability. So your dress turns into this big block square brute force thing, which is pretty cool. To talk about the music, like the wind sweeps you away and the music gets all intense in this one scene early on, and the only way you can get past it is to turn into the stone and kind of push your way through it, essentially. That and like you drop on things to break things. It's kind of part of that action platforming puzzly piece. There's the swim in the water one. You eventually get to sing, which brings elements of the environment around you to life and changes the map, so to speak. That's pretty cool. What am I missing? That there's a double jump because it's a video game. Have to have a double jump.
Yeah, you mentioned the singing, right? Is that what you just said?
Yeah, kind of unlocks and changes the environment around.
Plays with the environment for sure.
I think that's it. That's all I'm remembering right now.
And those are all things along with the colors that we mentioned. You know, like this idea of like emotional growth that Gris is experiencing throughout this game. And again, that's not something you'd necessarily pick up on. It was like kind of cool to learn about this after playing.
Yeah.
Right, because it's once you hear that, you're like, oh yeah, all right. But it's not spoon fed to you, man. Like it's pretty heady.
I'd say it's obscure 99% of the time. I never knew what was going on. I was just like, this feels heavy.
So if you understand, if you understand some stuff about color theory and stuff, like it makes a little bit more sense. So like it starts out in this like everything's gray, right? So it's like this idea of like
better than me.
A little bit.
Would you think you're fucking better than me, dude? If you understand fucking color theory.
Well, the easy one be gray, like a sadness, loss, whatever. Yeah. So it's subtle, this idea, and then the next big color that you get is red, and red is often like coupled with frustration, anger. Like I saw red, right? That type of deal.
Yeah.
And so it's cool. And then they like, you got those colors playing into those ideas. And then you mentioned like the big block like thing that the dress does, like that you have to fight through when like the whole screen like it's blowing sand around, turning red and stuff, and you have to like actually just force yourself to push through this thing. And then you go into green, which can represent new life, things like that. You've got blue, yellow.
The video man said bargaining, and I was like, fucking sure, dude.
Yeah,
that makes sense. That's what I was feeling when I was playing that area. I'm smart.
Depression is a blue thing too, so like intense sadness, withdrawal, and then yellow can represent coming to term like acceptance, right? And so as you progress through the game, you hit all these different stages of grief. It's just kind of a cool, it's a cool progression.
Yeah, I think your character's mad that McRib is gone.
She might be. What do you think, dude? Like this is what do you think her deal was? Why is she going through all this?
Perhaps I'm a simpleton, but I would imagine it's like a lost child or something. Although I didn't see any imageries of children, so I guess that would have been more heavy-handed. There's always like the big statue lady, and you're always in the hand of the big statue lady, and I think that's you in your psyche,
which like shatters and everything too. It's pretty interesting and starts to come back together. Like there's a lot of stuff, like a lot. This is a heady game, dude. It's like on surface level, it's whatever, but then as you start to look at all the pieces, it's cool.
I wouldn't be surprised if the developers just wanted to touch on the topic and then the color theory thing you're talking about, and then they didn't necessarily have. It's a very deep story, but I don't think it's a specific story, if that makes sense. Like I think the grief is the story.
Yeah. So it's ambiguous. They don't necessarily say. It starts off like she has this, like Gris has this beautiful voice, and you lose the voice, you kind of lose everything, and then as you progress, you like work through these stages of grief. Gris works through these stages of grief, and then by the end, she gets her voice back, and you end up like getting through everything. But it's a journey, and it's not clear cut. I'm interested, dude. I think I can't tell, and I'm not sure if it's supposed to represent her dying and her acceptance with dying, or if it's loss of something, like you said, like a loss of a daughter or a son or like child, whatever, like, or something like that, or simply like, who knows, like, but who knows what her stages are, like why she's grieving. But I think I think it could be, I think when I look at it, when I play, I almost like, I feel like she's pushing through the grief of her own death. Like I feel like she's like coming to terms with that, but that's just my interpretation.
I didn't even think of that simply because I didn't think of anything because I'm not very smart. But also, um, I guess abstractly, I didn't think that you could grieve your own death. You're dead, but we're artsy here, so we got to be a little less straightforward and practical. It's the inner German in me. But you're dead. There's no grieving death. You are dead. No, I can see that. The singing, though, like what took away the singing? So, like, maybe it's something like, your ability and your singing brings life into the world. So, once again, maybe you brought some life into the world and then that was taken from you and you don't want to bring any more life into the world. So,
who knows, man? And speaking of the singing, we mentioned the music being really good. It's done by a composer, Berlinist, is the name, and it's a lot of piano to orchestral arrangements, and then you have like kind of this abstract singing that Gris does. It's all really cool, man, and it's a vibe. Earlier, I was saying that it works with your environment. So there's certain areas where you're running along and you might hear some piano keys to the footsteps. Like it's I always love when a game incorporates music so well that way, when you can actually interact with the game and get, the music plays along, is always kind of a cool thing.
And it definitely lends into that whole meditative state that you're playing in. Like that
Totally.
I actually really enjoyed that low resistance and that low tension. And the music really played into that. Even when the stakes were higher and the music was more intense, it was kind of exciting, but also I wasn't like, oh my God, oh my God. It was just
Yeah.
all kind of part of the experience. That little art box exhibit diorama you're speaking of earlier.
Yeah, and when this game dropped, it was received a lot of critical praise. Players really enjoyed it. It didn't like set the world on fire or whatever, but it definitely has a cult following. Praise for its art, music, treatment of all the the themes of grief that we've been discussing. It also received some awards for its artistic direction and sound design. So it's it is an artsy game, my friend.
Can you imagine playing this as like a teenager? I'd be like, what the fuck?
Maybe, man. It's low action. I think you got to be ready, man. I think you got to be. And I put a call out to the Instagram to see what people's experiences are playing with this game, and one of the homies did hit me up and was saying something on the lines of kind of a game that I think they played on the down low, just because it's not like, I mean, it's not your Call of Duty, man. Like the younger people are they might give you some shit if they watch, they see you playing some artsy game over your shoulder or whatever, depending on your
You have to
circles.
be in, yeah, if you're living with the dudes or in a college dorm, you're not gonna be like, dude, I'm just gonna stay in and play some Gris.
All
And
right.
if you're just some stupid teenage boy, I doubt you're playing it. Maybe, I don't know. So it's definitely a game made for adults. Not
Yeah.
that the
Well,
gameplay is out of the reach of like a young adult or a child, but like it's funny when I play games like this. I'm just like, there's so many stages in my life I'd have no time for this. Even when Journey came out, like I know other people that played it and told me to play it because it's really cool, and like the whole core concept that you discover when you beat that game is, unfortunately, I've had it spoiled for me already, but
don't spoil
similar.
it. I haven't finished it, man.
Oh, okay. Similar to Death Stranding, how like the whole Death Strandings thing is like the connectivity and the playing with other people and how
Mm,
that's just such a heavy concept. But like when I played that game, Journey, I was like, this is cool, but I don't see what the point is. And I just wasn't a stage of my life where like games didn't need to have like a specific blatant goal or point. You know what I mean? So it's
sure.
interesting to play a game that's a different experience. And it's another reason I love Game Pass, man. It's just like, here's an experience for you, man. Here's 3 to 5 hours. Starfield flopped. Story for another day. But
Yeah,
what we are delivering is nice little heater experiences from. So I have this
totally.
high powered machine and I play artsy fartsy non high powered games on there, dude.
Another thing I love about this game is just the fact that it did spark a bunch of conversations, even our own conversation here about, mental health and art. We didn't get super into it, but this game does by default encourage folks to think about those things and to talk about them. And you don't always get that in video games, man.
Yeah, it would be a cool game to like play with a friend or a partner. It'd be a cool game to like talk to somebody about. Although because it's so obscure, it might be difficult to like share your opinions on what's going on. Because if I wouldn't have done the necessary research, I would have been like, huh?
Yeah, for sure.
The way I consume the game, you can talk about levels and you can talk about specific moments, but it kind of blends together because it is so vibey and meditative and just like this brief experience that's heavy, but like I don't remember a ton of specific stages and moments. Like the colors, those are big moments for me, obviously. It was very
Dog.
artistic, very cool. Music, there's big moments that was very cool. But when I look back on the game, it was just this 5 hour romp that was just like a cool, vibey, fucking fun time, but it wasn't.
You ready to stay heady though, dude? What you
Yeah,
just
dude.
described is the true way people experience grief, bro.
Fuck off.
That's for real.
For
Like
sure, though. I
the
suppose it's a
stages of
blur
grief
and
aren't
whatnot.
meant to be clear cut. They're not meant to be one, two, three, four,
Yeah.
five. They blend
Yeah.
together. And that's exactly how this game works, my friend.
An artsy video guy who was probably right, but I still like to pretend he was totally wrong. And that's funnier for me. Pointed that out many times that these stages are not so clear cut and that they come roaring back and interplay from time to time.
Right. We'll link that video in the show notes, dude, because that's a dope video.
Yeah.
It's going to do a way better job of explaining what the developers meant to do when they when they made
Yeah.
this game. But I do think, I mean, that's a pretty good lead in, man. Like, what's your recommendation on Grease?
It's hard to say. It's usually pretty easy for me to recommend games. I don't have to think of like a specific person, but this isn't necessarily the most recommendable game, although like I would always speak highly of it if that makes sense. Like it was a really cool
Mm.
experience for me. I have this is a topic for another day. I would consider it like a lo-fi game. I've been getting into these different various lo-fi games and it's like the most intensive of that. So I guess the person I would recommend this for recently it was a pretty deep cut sale on Steam. So if you get that on the 5 or under or on Game Pass, it's an easy recommend. But other than
Dude,
that,
it goes pretty deep on Nintendo from time to time too. You can get this game pretty cheap.
I would say some couch co-op couples, or
Mm.
just like if it's a rainy day and you just want a quick little romp, rainy day arty vibes. That's so I don't know if that's a good answer, but that's what I got.
That's fair, man. I am
How about you?
I think this is a tricky one. Like a lot of times I'll, and when we're talking about how we would recommend a game, I don't know if I would recommend this game to like your gamer. You know what I'm saying? Like
Yeah.
someone that like loves video games. I'm not necessarily this would be like I'd be able to give them a strong pitch on it. And that's not to say that it's a bad video game. I just think that it's more for me, it was more of the experience, right? And I really like learning about it and Brent, to hark back to the whole idea of like how could you interject this game into education, like you would definitely as a teacher have to lesson plan the shit out of this game.
Yeah.
Like you would have to like have a bunch of fucking prompts. You would have to like really explain the stages of grief to kids. And
It'd be like a
anyways,
companion. It would be about interpretation and
totally.
seeing it play out.
But
It uses a
that's
lot
just
of
so
gamer logic.
interesting though.
It is. It uses a lot of gamer logic, so I would say I would like recommend it to like a non-gamer, but
That's
like
where I was going, man. So that's where I was going. Is
but it
it would totally be? It's like if you have someone that's gaming curious, or like my good buddy John, he recommended it to his wifey, and I
no.
don't know if she played it or not, but it's because it is a very approachable game. The actual video game aspect of it not too difficult. The puzzles, there's something like a little tricky. You got to poke around a little bit, but I don't think they don't really break you. You don't like spend a bunch of time lost in this game. So for someone
No,
that doesn't
but that's
play,
why I said it was like more of like a co-op with the partner because you
hmm,
would need to lead them through and it's not hard. The puzzles don't get you stuck, but like as an intensive player. I think I was in, like Phil Spencer, I think I was in the top 5% of Xbox users, and that kind of hurt my soul. I was like, I didn't think I was like that, but apparently it's like that. I play a lot of games in short, like a gross amount. And so it seems so easy and effortless. But I think there's some areas in that game where if my wife, for example, were playing, I think she would get frustrated and it would feel super obscure. And
Mm.
the solution to us would be so obvious to, oh, you got to turn into a block and break through that. But like they haven't been playing games since they were like 6. Now, if you're
Dude,
playing that together though, and you can
there's
talk
some
them
good
through
visual
that,
cues though. I know exactly what you're talking about. But like there's a
yeah,
like for instance, there's a spot like I do think they do a good job of signposting those type of things though, even for someone that's not a huge gamer. Like that part, there's that section where you have the where the like the ground is like a reversed, it's like black and white, and then you have these birds that like flutter out when you walk over it, and then when you jump up and land on it, more birds come out. And it like it's cueing that okay, you need to hit the ground harder, and then you break through. Like
yeah,
it has those little
there's
visual cues.
there's sometimes you gotta climb up really high so you sink further into the
Mm.
water
Mm-hmm.
so you get around some stuff. And it's like stuff I was able to figure out. And there was even some moments that took me slightly longer that I'm proud of. It's interesting because it's a game that I would give a full-throated recommendation of being cool, dope, artsy, a great experience. And yet, for the first time, I cannot think of someone that I would actually encourage to buy it. I usually can see a face. I'm like, I'm going to annoy this person about it. Or
Mm.
if this person's looking for a game, I'm definitely going to say it. But like, are you going to go to work and be like, yo, pop your head in the kitchen? You can be like, my dude's Gris.
You know what's funny about that though is actually at the workplace, I've had homies like one of my homies, Yara, was talking about how dope this game is, dude. It's one of her favorite games.
All right.
But you know, that's just the thing. Like, not everybody like Yara. And my buddy John, who I just mentioned, I mean, kid went to art school.
Yeah.
so
I
so
do
that's
keep
just it. Like
thinking
I
of
do
my
think
buddy who's not a video game player, but he has like a master's in art stuff. I'm like, look at Andy's bougie ass would like this,
dude, he
but
probably
he
would.
doesn't even game. So it's just
He
kind of
might
funny
like
to
it.
think. Yeah, no, it's cool. I mean, at the very least, you just watch a YouTube video of it. It's
Put
dope.
it this way, man. I bought this game for pretty cheap on a Nintendo sale years ago. Dabbled in it, didn't quite stick, and I'm very happy that I like plowed through it for the pod. So I think that I put it like this: put it on your wish list, grab that shit on the cheap, and just give it a try.
Or if you're on Game Pass and it's a rainy,
Right?
shitty winter weekend or some shit, and you just want some intriguing lo-fi vibes, or if you're a little Madden fiend like me and you're not enjoying the games you're playing a little too much, and then you just do a half an hour to get out of your addicting game and spend a half an hour vibing out before you go to bed, and it's feels way better.
There you go, man. I think that does it. I think that does it. Let's take a little break. Come back with our unsanctioned sponsor.
No doubt. All right, man. So I'll be, this is an honest and vulnerable moment here. I like my jokes, but I've not been bringing it for the unsanctioned sponsors. I'm fully aware of that. I really have just been leaning into being a shithead about yours. And really, that's just me masking my insecurity of not coming to the pod with my unsanctioned sponsored. So first of all, I want to not apologize to you about that because never back down, shithead for life. But then second of all, I have at
I'm out here
first,
hustling, dude. You know how many unsanctioned
dude,
sponsors, how
yours
many people I've been out there
suck,
trying to
dude.
fucking hawk the fucking
Yours
pod out there grinding.
suck, dog.
I had to get fucking meat to get or grilling season to hawk the
I was like,
pod.
you just grabbing meat? What are you talking
Dude,
about?
what
But
else?
anyway,
I had some good ones. Fuck, dude, get out of here.
so
This pod's still
originally,
here. It's still here
yeah,
because I've been out here
yeah,
pulling in them sponsors.
right, correct.
Ain't nobody giving us money. And you know why? Because of my hard ass
We're
work.
still living off of our endowment of McRib money, but eat a dick anyway.
Yeah.
Um, at first I was like, dude, I'm a bougie boy. I don't even care. I like to find things in life. Ironically, I was at Aldi when I was thinking this. So there's some delusions of grandeur right there. But I had just purchased some kombucha and I was like, dude, let's talk about the
Oh,
booch.
yeah,
And
all
then I was
right.
like, dude, I have done that. What is wrong with me? I have already unsanctioned sponsored the booch because your boy likes booch. And that's not what I'm here for today. I have two completely unrelated sanctioned sponsors. Are you ready?
Damn, you bringing two? That's a
Two.
lot of not of money today.
Yeah, one's relatable and the other one is not considering our lineage, but that's okay. First off, Real Tree Gang, not the camouflage company. I'm not into
I was
hunting, not
gonna
against
say,
it.
bro, you trying to knock him money from Real Tree?
Switch up, dude. I was at the Fleet Farm. No, we buy a real Christmas tree every year, and I know it's
Yeah,
expensive, and I know I could get a nice fake tree and have it forever, but that shit's
fuck
fucking
that.
dumb. I like watering my fucking real tree that I have in my living room. I
Mm,
like the fucking smell. I like dressing her up. I
yes,
like
sir.
picking her out and having the old Catholic dude strap it onto my car. It's a good, wholesome time. All right. I fucking enjoy that shit. All right.
I'm
Real
down with a Real
trees,
Tree.
fake trees are stupid. Go big or go home.
Ooh,
Unless you're
boy.
allergic or you have cats. And then if you have cats, that's your lifestyle choice. You already know that they're strange and you have to have a fake tree. And I'm not even going to pick a fight because those cats bring you comfort and that's fine. But you can't have a real tree and real trees are dope. So that's step one. I know you are a real tree guy, so you got my
Mm,
back on this.
sure am.
Step two, chicken parm, dude.
Chicken parm.
Chicken parmesan.
What's that got to do with trees?
It doesn't. I told you these were unrelated.
Puff on some trees. Eat some chicken parm.
Well, I don't not recommend that. Uh, chicken parmesan though. It's a really easy but also a labor of love meal. Like if you can like master a chicken parm, not even master because I ain't there yet, dog. We didn't grow up any bit Italian. It's just me on the internet learning how to do these things and practicing over time. But if you nail a chicken parm, dude, like you got chicken breasts, you're just trying to get through the week. You probably got some breadcrumbs in
I
the
gotta say, what you
pantryway as
using as
well.
breading, dude? You getting what kind of you using? Like panko and shit?
I think just some regular Italian breadcrumbs. We have them because, when your boy gets a little older, you gotta start feeding them the solids. And then you learn that babies are picky as hell and feeding them is actually this really crappy puzzle that you do every day of your life when they're done with the titty milk. Shouts out to titty milk as well.
Yeah.
But but when you start feeding them solids, meatballs are kind of clutch. So I had them around. I get large amounts of chicken breasts and I fillet them in half because a plump chicken
Mm.
breast is overrated. That's dry and not good in the middle. All the flavor is on the
So
outside.
how are you cooking your chicken, bro?
Dude, in so many different ways. I'm so good at cooking chicken, but like just the matter of the fact is the best part of your chicken is the outside of the are we gonna argue that the tastiest part is the part you season and cook in
Oh
butter and
yeah,
all
no,
that?
I mean like for sure.
Yeah, yeah, come on now.
Unless you
But
fuck with like a goat cheese stuffed chicken breast
certainly, but now we're talking
wrapped
about the
in
goat
bacon,
cheese.
bro.
We're talking about the goat cheese and the bacon. Right now it's about chicken parms. All my Italian East Coast moms know that love is shown through a nice chicken parm. All right. And there's this one time that our sister
So what you doing for gravy on the chicken parm?
gravy. This is
Yeah,
chicken
dog, the
parmesan,
sauce.
dog. It's just sauce. I'm a roused sauce guy.
Come on, you watch the bear, dude. You know that they call the sauce
Oh,
gravy.
the fucking bear. Yeah, I suppose. But anyway, I
You watch
sauce is.
Sopranos? You know anything about Italians?
I have not actually watched The Sopranos.
I don't know.
It's a blind spot. But anyway, there's this one time Ma was out of town. Our Italian mother, who's not Italian, was out of town, and our useless in the kitchen father, I was like, I'm gonna hook it up. I'm gonna make him some nice chicken parm. And if you've cooked chicken parm for multiple people, you'll know it's a ginormous bitch, dude. You're frying all sorts of things. You're monitoring all these different things. And Ellie, our sister, was there. And I played all this stuff up. It's gorgeous. I did a great job. And I'm not necessarily fishing for compliments as much as I'm like, hey, how is it? Some feedback, some acknowledgement of all my hard work. She goes, what? The cheesy chicken? Yeah, it's pretty good. And I was like, you uncultured swine. You did not just call this shit cheesy chicken. Moral story, chicken parm slaps. Do you ever make it?
It's been ages since I made that shit, dude. It's good. I ain't hating on chicken parm.
Dude, when I nail it, it feels so good. And sometimes I get it at a restaurant and it's like so bomb, but like
Yeah,
sometimes they fuck
that's
it
where I'd
up.
be fucking with it. The
Yeah.
restaurants.
So it's just like it's this labor of love, and like I just like to pretend to be boopity boopity boppity Italian. What's up?
That's racist.
It's okay. They're Italians. The Italians have been super nice to the Irish and the Germans, I'm sure. So, well, there's weird jokes to be made there. I'm gonna leave that there.
Right, right on.
We can't team up the Germans and the Italians. It was a weird time. All right. And we were American at that time, so we don't
Let's bring it
associate
back
with
to
any of it.
real trees, bro. I have nothing bad to say about your chicken parm. Fuck a McRib, chicken parm. I fuck
Yeah,
with
you've
chicken
come with
parm.
just plain bacon as your fucking unsanctioned sponsor. Chicken parm is way more cultured, you swine.
Get out of here, man! Like, well, man, you put some bacon on that chicken parm, you know it's gonna be better.
Fucking pancetta if you want to not piss off the Italians. Or what's that
Yeah,
fancy word? What's that fancy thing that's not
prosciutto,
bacon?
probably, dude.
Not even that. It's the stuff they use to make like the technical, what's that? Uh
Some pork belly.
dude, it's something like that. And it's for like that one sauce that people go real with the egg yolk and the
Mm.
you get the fucking point. You can cut all this. Just keep the good parts.
Yeah. Chicken parm and real trees. You ever eat chicken parm, stare at your real tree that you dress real nice,
And
feel like
yeah,
Christmas?
about 2 days ago it was dope.
Nice.
Last night actually.
Nice.
I didn't have any wine. That would have been too acidic for my little weak boy stomach, but I had some whiskey. It was dope.
Here's the real trees, chicken parm, and Tums.
Mm.
Well, shit, dude. Welcome back. You meant side question?
Always, man. First of all, I'm never going to spend too much time spent talking specifically about Madden on this podcast. I'll always allude to the fact that I'm playing it because I am. But the quick note I want to make on it that kind of makes me giggle is I am on the Reddits, and I follow a lot of game threads, and I would say
Lurking
that
on the Reddits.
lurking. That's yeah, for sure. And like all of the like Reddit is obviously not the most positive place, but all the things that I sub to are like quite charming communities, is what I would put it as. Like Bob Burgers, overly wholesome. All the geography stuff, overly wholesome. Hades for gaming, Mario, Zelda, all this stuff. Like the community is just like fun and cool and pretty innocent and derpy. Madden is the most toxic place I think I've been a part
It
of. It's
doesn't
just,
surprise me.
dude, every week, every day, it's just like, this game is fucking stupid. This game is fucking broken. And I'm like, there's times where I feel that way. Don't get me wrong. But like overwhelmingly, I'm like, this game's fine, dude. It'll never be the amazing game any of us apparently want it to be. But I think even if it was, it's just like an angry, when you think of like angry male gamer, you think of like Call of Duty and Madden. And there's some people who post some interesting things in there, so I don't mind lurking on that sub too much. But like that's just all I wanted to say was the Madden sub is the one dark place on my Reddit feed where I'm like, what's wrong with these little virgins, dude? What's going on with these dudes?
Sunshine, rainbows, and Madden.
Yeah, dude, like fuck them. But some other significant side quests recently picked up Jusant.
Yes. Nice.
Might actually be the game for next month, so I won't get too into it other than it's just once again another Xbox Game Pass slapper.
Mm-hmm.
What's it? Starfield to just catch a stray from me, but like wow. Looking back to how much I hyped that game for like probably a year or two and what I wanted it to be, and like the stages of grief, like Gris, and like trying to like talk myself into enjoying it and like kind of liking it, but just like letting go of the dream of what I wanted that game to be.
Starfield, yeah.
Yeah.
I have yet to fire it back up since I set it down back in October, man.
Same. But Xbox Game Pass keeps delivering on these little like indie hits, man. And it's just like as the whole medium, there's obviously some huge hits this year. Like everyone's very excited about this year in gaming. But what I think is mostly known, but maybe not fully understood by a lot of people, is that like the best things happening in games are not AAA anymore.
Hmm.
Like my biggest memories of this year are games like Dredge or even like
Dredge is tight,
Stars.
dude.
And these games stick with me. And these big AAA experiences are super cool. Like a weak spot being Baldur's Gate, because it didn't release on the Xbox, and my PC probably can handle it, but it wouldn't be like the optimal experience for me. So, Jasant, the original game I was talking about, super cool. Another game similar to Grease, where the tension is extremely low, and that really
Mm-hmm.
is fucking cool. Like I'm not gonna die in this game. I'm not stressing. I don't get that same jolt of energy.
There's some
Or
puzzles that piss me off.
yep, I've gotten mildly frustrated for sure.
So it's
I
a
would
climbing
say,
sim.
yeah.
You're climbing a mountain.
The
It's
best
got vibes
comparison.
of what's that? I never played him, but the Nathan Drake shit. What's that stuff?
Oh, Uncharted. I have
Yeah.
a better comp actually. It feels more like Death Stranding.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Because
If you
Death
were
Stranding,
like,
a big piece of it is traversal, and like the coolest parts of those games. I actually liked the weird walking delivery sim aspects of Death Stranding. I liked putting ladders down and like getting across weird environmental things.
yeah, I
I
didn't put enough
hated
time
the
into it.
5 hours of Kojima cutscenes, and other people love
See,
that, and God bless you. But
I was enjoying just about everything about Death Stranding except for whatever. Like I mean, I didn't put enough time into it, but like what made me bounce off is I got in this like I got into an area where those ghost things or whatever were just real pain in the ass to pass, and I
yeah,
couldn't figure it out. So I was like, fuck it. I just
people
never
who
picked it
like
up
the
again.
game, I don't disagree with you. There was just some hangups, but this game, there's no enemies that I've run into. There's
Yeah, me
no
neither. I'm
there's
probably
no
about halfway through.
timers other than a few of your handholds like wither in the sun, but they come right back up if you do some stuff. So the timing stuff is quick. There's some puzzling, but like I don't know, man. It's just cool. And the climbing graphic or climbing gameplay is innovative is the wrong word. Just gratifying and
It's got good
cool and
flow.
rewarding. Yeah, flow is a good word.
Yeah, I've been playing
Um,
this one too, and like the when you like grab, you use the trigger buttons to do like to
which is
move your
cool.
hands, and
Feels
it's like
good
kind
left
of
and
fun.
right.
And
Yeah.
yep, which is nice. And then it's yeah, it is cool.
You string some things together where like you place your little hold and then you swing
Yep,
sometimes and like so you like combine some of the things that you're learning. I'm about halfway through
yeah, I think we're
and
around
it's
the same
just
place, man.
another
I gotta
beautiful
ask,
game too.
are you reading the little letters that are left behind?
I wanted to be a good, intelligent individual, and then I was like, no, this is not mixing well with
I
the
skimmed the
Manhattan I'm
shit out of
drinking.
them. I
This is
skimmed the
not.
shit out of them,
Yeah.
and I barely even. I don't know. I'm
I've
like,
heard some
fuck it.
people applaud the world building of it, and I'm like, that's
Yeah,
really cool. I get the gist, dude. There used to be water there, and there's no more water, and it seems like
right.
there's been a generation of no rain, if not multiple. So, like, it's cool, but I don't know. I like my reading to be my reading and my Vigia games to be my Vigia games. So,
That's all
do
right,
you
man.
do you read them? You just
No,
skim?
skim the shit. Dude, if they're lucky, I'll skim one. Most time,
Yeah.
I've kind of got to a point where I just want to climb.
The video gamey shit takes over where like you run into those like little rock towers where you add a rock to it and like you're just
Mm-hmm.
like, hell yeah, found this. And then I'm
Are
like,
those save points or are those like what are? I don't even know what's happening with those.
I think it's to tickle your brain, dude. I think it's
Right
just
on.
like it's like good job, bud. And I'm like,
Cool.
hell yeah. And then last but certainly not least, I got a Steam Deck. I like to smell its vapors as we discussed off air before we got here.
Yes,
And had a brief tech issue with it that makes
dude. I
no
can't believe
sense.
that happened to you.
Which makes no sense, but I
I'm glad you
think
figured it out.
no doubt for now, I'm a little scared to download things again, but I'll obviously have to get there. And I'm really hoping it's not a thing where every time I download a game, I have to go through that process. But anyway, I won't get into that tech. What I will say is, although it's a super bitchin' machine, I like playing games on there. I have newfound respect for just how sturdy and playable the Switch is, man. PC
Mm.
gamers love to tell you how their PCs are like the coolest thing and that consoles are stupid, but you don't have to figure out crazy things and feel totally out of depth on a Switch. You just grip it and rip it, dude.
That's fair, man. That is I
Yeah.
mean that is see I like tinkering. I wouldn't have liked tinkering with the problem that you had because that's whack.
Well, you
You
were
had a
helpful,
battery
so that's
issue.
appreciated. Yeah.
You had a battery issue which was like stupid, and it's like the nice thing about the internet is like you can get on there in the forums and see that other people have had this issue and they figured out ways to fix it. But that in my mind is unacceptable. Like the fact that it has this weird glitch that drained your battery, and what it really was is like there was a bug that was making it so that your battery wasn't charging but was reading as full. That's my understanding of that problem.
Yeah, I think so. Well, it was in, oh, this is boring. I'll just talk about the games I'm playing on here.
I'm glad you
Marvel,
have one though, dude. I'm excited
yeah,
to get my hands back on it so I can hook you up with some emulation, hook
yeah.
you up with some I want to get you going on some streaming of Game Pass, dude.
I want that too,
My
specifically for
deck,
Drasant.
dude, it's nice. I
Yeah.
like I would say 80% of the gaming I do on my deck is honestly streaming Game Pass these days.
Yeah, it'd be nice. The Steam sale in the fall one, I bought it like just before I got the Steam Deck in my hands, so I didn't quite know what games to buy. I bought games I thought I'd want on the deck.
Mm.
And I now that I've been dealing with the tech, I have a new idea of what I'd like to play on there. But Curse to Golf is a fun little romp. I do recommend. That's a fun little one. And then Marvel Midnight Suns has been very cool, although I will say the beginning is dense with cutscenes and dialogue, and people go over here and talk to this person. I'm like, can I just get back to the combat, please?
Right. I played just a little bit of
So
that game, and I think combat's nice, dude. I might like as a card game, like it's like an action card game or
it's
something.
like
But
a cool action turn-based combat. So I'm a little clunky with it still, but I like games like that a lot, and I think having it on a handheld is going to be pretty neat. Excited for that one. And I think that and my other lo-fi games, just a quick shout out to Town Scraper
I bought
and
that on your recommendation.
Romantic. Yeah, those are super cool, like tile games. And then Town Scraper, I don't know what the fuck it is. You just click and a tile appears and then you build little structures. And I was watching the Monday Night Football game passively because I was just building this weird little structure and I was just listening to Joe and Troy, just talking sweet football to my brain. But enough about me, dude. What's your chicken parm this month?
Was my side quest.
Yep.
Dude, I've been playing a lot of 2K. I bought 2K24. I'm back on
Welcome
my
to the
basketball
lamest
tip.
gaming podcast ever. We play Madden and 2K, games we loathe but
Dude,
enjoy.
I love buying 2K this time of year because you can get it for half off around the Black
Yeah,
Friday sales or
never buy
whatever.
a sports game full price. That's just
No, so
good
I got
advice.
it. It's the second physical game that I have for my Xbox Series X. The first being
Yeah,
2K23.
it's the same with Madden. It's so dumb.
Dude, I'm like, I saw a meme the other day that was like, tell me or show me, tell me you're stupid without saying you're stupid or whatever. And it was a stack of FIFAs from like
Yeah,
95 all the way to 2000, like to today, which
yeah.
I don't know, dude. Like, I
All
get
these
what the
fan
joke
bases hate
was.
themselves. Yeah,
Dude, I get the joke, but I was like, that's kind of dope. You got that stack of FIFAs though.
yeah. There's something to it. I'll give you that.
Being a collector, I'm like, I mean, now it's like it's funny to me, dude. Like, I want a small stack of 2Ks.
I don't think these games will be playable like
I'm worried
Madden
about that too, to be
cartridge
honest.
shit is from like the 64 or stuff. Or the
Mm,
Sega. So I think that's frustrating. But what are you gonna do? So
right,
you're
right.
enjoying 2K. I'm
I'm
assuming you
enjoying
play as the
2K. I
Timberwolves.
do play as a Timberwolves dude, and those that have been listening to this, oh wait, have I talked about it? Doesn't matter, dude. The I had a lot of fun playing with the Timberwolves last season on
I remember you
2K.
talked about it.
Okay, I know I did in the compendium episode. I'm
This
not
is the
sure if I
first
did on
time
the
the
main line.
Timberwolves have probably played better in real life than when you play them
Dude,
in a video game. So that's
right.
cool.
So like in the video game, like the squad was pretty good last year, right? Like especially on paper. Didn't really
Yes.
perform all
Yeah.
that well. This year, T Pups are number one today, as of recording. Number one in the fucking league, man.
Always number one in our hearts.
Well, of course, but they're also number one on the stat sheets, but or other the
If we
rankings or
truly
whatever.
make a run in the playoffs, I'm going to be the most like ignorant bitch in the whole world and not let anyone on the bandwagon because you have to be a special type of masochist to like be my level of Timberwolves fan for how long. Like the arguments and the conversations I had dating back like through high school and college are pretty dire and low.
Dude, I was
So it's pretty bad.
I'm not anti Cat. I like Cat a lot. I always kind of like Cat, but he'd been like kind of losing my favor over the last couple of years, you know.
It's fair.
And
In video games, he's sick, dude.
Hog, he's so good in 2K24. He's so good in 2K24 that I'm giving him a break in real life. And you know what? The way that he's playing in real life, also like pretty darn good. So
It's a different podcast, but yeah,
dude,
he's always been fun in video games. I've played
dude,
a
he
lot of
hits
Cat.
threes like, oh, dude, his three shot is butter, dude. It's so great.
I've quit 2K in the last few years.
Mm.
I used to really relish telling my students that they suck ass at 2K and then I would clap them. And now I just do that with Madden, but
Yeah.
it'd probably be me in 2K now. 2K has like done some weird things, like trying to be like Fortnite with basketball as far as like
They do have some
online
weird stuff, but
community stuff.
I don't pay any attention to that shit, dude. I just build out
Sure.
my little season and I have a good ass time. And I enjoy the like they had the My Jordan stuff and now they have the Kobe stuff, the Mamba stuff. And I
The
like
true
those,
goat.
dude. It's
I
fun.
get it.
Out of here with that shit.
Yeah, you're right. They don't have a LeBron mode yet. They will when he retires.
You see the memes, that are like that NBA Cup has won every single NBA Cup, LeBron. Jordan, zero NBA cups.
I can see that. Yeah.
Dude, clowning.
That hasn't made
So
it to
2K,
Reddit, so no, I haven't seen it.
dude, it probably started on Reddit. That's how this shit works. But
Yeah.
dude, that has been a major side quest in the video game realm for me. I've been poking around. Jusant has been my other like main game outside of 2K and Gris. Just poking around with some other games. The Steam sale, the autumn Steam sale just happened. So I picked up a few. I started Midnight Suns. I'm excited to play more of that game. I also got Curse to Call. I'm excited to play more of that one. Some other fun, Steam sale games that I've poked around with a little bit. Myth Force, I'm a little worried. We got some homies in the Discord saying, Myth Force is whack. But I'm looking forward to playing some multiplayer with you here and anybody else that wants to join here in the near future.
I think it should get better over time, or that's what I'm going to blindly tell myself to make myself feel better about it. But it was 15
It probably will.
I'll live with it.
Yeah, dude, it'll be fine. We'll get $15 worth out of it. And outside of that, dude, I would say my other major side quest is I'm back on my comic book tip, dude. I had let my subscription to Marvel Unlimited pass because I had signed up for like a sweet deal for 3 months or whatever. But then around Black Friday time, they had a nice sale for it. So I've got it for the year. I'm excited to have, that's why I was able to finish. I was in the middle of the Spider Gwen, like the Gwenverse comics when I stopped reading. So I finished those off. That was kind of fun, like fun little series. But I want to get back into X-Men, but the Star Wars comics always fucking like for whatever, I don't know, man. I always get pulled back in. So I read through all the Vader comics. I've been reading. Now I'm going way back. I'm trying to read through like all of like the canon comics that have started for Star Wars in the past, like
the old school Dark Horse ones, like they
no.
those. Are you talking about
those
like
would be Legends
that happened like in 2015?
Yeah, so that's considered Legends.
Okay.
So canon, the stuff that like the 2016 or whatever it is.
I think I picked up a few of those just because they were starting to pop up. But that's like when I quit my most recent quitting of. I have a long treasured history with comic books and graphic novels, but the last time I was like popping off and like buying physical ones, I bought a few of those. Maybe it was just Vader one.
Dude, Vader comics are so good. Vader's such a beast.
Well, like, dude, Star Wars, the actual stories of the movies are kind of whack if you really think about it. But like the world building's always been like top notch. And like even like Harry Potter, which is just a complete tangent now, like like the world building, like that Hogwarts game. I keep seeing that on sale, and I don't think it's for me.
Is that 40%, dude? When it drops to 50, I'm gonna send it.
I bet you then they will make a next spend game because they made just a filthy amount of money on the first one. So there's no way they're not,
People like it, dude. The people that play it, I think they like it.
I have some non-heavy gamer friends that have put heavy gamer hours into it. Yeah. But everything I saw from the gameplay, I have some pretty heavy open world fatigue. If you didn't hear my rant 10 minutes ago about the little indies I like on Game Pass, I have some pretty heavy fatigue on games like that. And it very much looked like just another one. But like I was a little jealous of people walking around the halls of Hogwarts, and it did remind me, there's something about Harry Potter just being Christmassy as fuck,
Yep, Christmas movie for sure. We just rewatched all the movies recently.
That's some young baby shit right there. Where you just like you want to sit around and veg these in between. Yeah,
dog. We're moving out of the like being able to watch movies like that with Elton when he just like nap traps you and you like watch a movie. Like he doesn't not about that anymore. He's like moving out of that stage.
Did you get your Xbox year in review wrapped? Did you look at yours?
I haven't looked yet. No.
You'll have to boot yours up. When you get onto your Xbox home screen, you click on it. You think it's going to show you there, but then you got to hit that. You have to like scan your QR code on your phone or whatever. What? It's the thing I was talking about. Yeah. So you like.
I mean, sure.
And then you're like, huh? And then it's like all in front of you or whatever. That's when I was making the joke because Phil Spencer shared his. My top 3 games. You want to guess what they were? Playing on the box. It's pretty simple if you actually think about it. But the number 1 is the only one I don't think you'll get if you think real hard. All 3 of them above 100 hours, so don't feel good about that.
Oh, wow. Okay. Yeah, I guess you probably got Madden on there for sure.
Yep, that's number 3, actually.
What? You got some over, what would it be on the Xbox?
Summertime.
High on Life? No, that was like wintertime.
No, dude.
And that was like 30 hours.
I was supposed to say like at the most.
Luke is a big High on Life fan, but playing the DLC
four
like
times, dude.
Go back in.
No, dude, MLB The Show, which is just more not interesting to talk about.
Sure. Yeah.
But
okay.
number one was The Witcher.
Oh, nice.
Because when the babies would nap, dude, I was trapped there for like hour or two, and and they do that 2-3 times a day to me. So I was just grinding The Witcher while I was stuck there. So
solid game to be up top, dude. Be proud of that one. Witcher's fucking dope.
Yeah, I think of it. And the new gen update, they was pretty sick, dude. Where they refreshed.
My other main side quest was an old main quest. I've been continuing to plug through Sea of Stars as well. I haven't hung up the gloves on that one yet.
I playfully dapped you up for actually playing that when you were ignoring one of my texts because your Discord said you were playing Sea of Stars. And I was like, this dick either so into it or he's mad at me for something. I don't care. I'm gonna
or just playing games and not paying attention to your fucking messages.
It's fucking turn based. Take a fucking time. Get back to me.
Yeah, but you see, I'm streaming it on my deck, bro, so I don't see it popping up on,
That would probably help me get through it, because I have picked it up once or twice. What part are you at?
Where
have you been betrayed yet? Spoiler.
Yeah, geez, man. I have.
I mean, come on, dude. You saw that shit come from a mile away. They teased it within like the first hour.
For sure. No, I've been betrayed.
You'd have to be 8 to have that one pulled over you.
I'm in the underwater stuff. I'm doing stuff in the underwater realms.
I think I'm only slightly in front of you, so I still got that. But yeah, cool game.
Like I'm in that tower, the underwater tower area, where you like moving through the tower, doing little puzzle things.
Yeah, I think I've done that.
Yeah, it's dope, dude. I continue to like that game. Like,
didn't it win the award for like
best indie or independent game? I don't know, gaming word, silly ass shit, but it did.
Fuck you, Jason Schreier.
What?
He's just got his big boner for some other ones, and he was all mad about the translation or the commas or something.
Oh, I remember that. Yeah.
I was like, all right, dude. I guess.
Dude, it's just dope. That's one of my favorite games of the year, even though I haven't even finished it.
Yeah. It was a memorable one for me. I don't know if I'll finish it just because.
You know what we will finish? This episode.
This pod, yeah. I was about to say. Cut some of this.
Thanks for joining us, everybody. It's been another fun one. Thanks for tuning in. Check us out, low5gaming.com. Hit up our Discord if you'd like. We will drop our next game in there. You're welcome to play along. Join the conversation. Follow us on the social medias, Low5Gaming. And yeah, just thanks for being a real one. Thanks for staying all the way through the end of this episode. You legend. Yeah. Goddamn legend. Give us 5 stars if you're on Spotify. How about that?
Oh yeah, definitely do that.
All right, much love. Take it easy, bro. Ain't nobody gonna see you blow and kiss at me. There you go.
They heard them. Peace.
All right, peace.
Yes, signor. Can I just get some macaroni and gravy?
Ma che cos'è questo gravy?
Paolo, he doesn't know what you say. You mean gravies. Uva.
Gravy. Tomato sauce.
Ah, isso a pasta capumarona. Non gli piace questo.
E poi dicono che i tedeschi andare in classe su piezzi in me.
Scusa.